read a lot more books this month. Happy Vlogmas! I'm so excited to be doing Vlogmas again this year. I decided to do 12 days of Vlogmas just because in the beginning of December was finals week, aka my last video yesterday. I had no time to edit and film videos. I'm very excited. I hope you are too. I've got some good things planned. But we are here to talk about my books that I read. In October, I read 3 books, and they are all the same trilogy. It is the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy by Stephanie Garber. She is one of my favorite writers. Her books make me feel something. I absolutely love the world, the characters, the plot. I read Once Upon a Broken Heart and The Ballad of Never After multiple times, but I had to reread them because A Curse for True Love came out in October. Basically, these books follow the possible love story of Evangeline and Jax, or Evangeline and Apollo. So the first book, Once Upon a Broken Heart, is about this girl, Evangeline Fox. She fell in love with a guy, but he's marrying her freaking sister out of nowhere, and she just is like, this can't be right. So she goes to the church of the Prince of Hearts, aka Jax, and oh man, do I love Jax. He is the ultimate villain that you just love so much. Can't explain it, just love him. You know, he has all these powers. She's like, hey, can you help me? I don't want the wedding to happen. And he's like, sure. So he does something magical and it stops the wedding, but not without its price. They continue their adventure together, and he gives her 3 fatal kisses. So she has little marks on her arm, and that is her debt, is her 3 kisses. His kiss is fatal. If he kisses you and you're not his one true love, you will die. You find out more about that later, more in the 3rd book, and I was just very shocked, very confused. At one point, she meets the prince, whose name is Apollo. Jax forces Evangeline to kiss Apollo. He instantly becomes infatuated with her. And a bunch of other things happen, and you just kind of realize Jax's plan for Evangeline. He's kind of using her to get something that he wants. And you also kind of find out that she is very important. It's really the best. All of the characters that she meets, and you kind of just get to know the world a little bit better. Next book, The Ballad of Never After, is personally my favorite. I love this one. There's so much tension between Jax and Evangeline. This book, you find more about why Evangeline is so important to the world, to the plot, to the meaning. There's a lot of curses in this book that they have to work through, and there's like a major curse that affects her and Apollo. She almost dies a lot in this book, like a lot, and also her and Jax get closer. The tension, there's always something happening in these books. It leaves on a gigantic cliffhanger that left me speechless when I first read this. So just be prepared for literally anything. Everything and anything happens in this book. The big cliffhanger leads on to the last and the final book, A Curse for True Love. By the way, I gave both of these books 5 stars. I love them. Now, I had very high hopes for this book, and they were sort of met. A lot of people have said the same thing I have. It's a very rushed ending and like a rushed whole book, and it was kind of long. I still love it. I still will forever reread this series, because for some reason, whenever I read these books, I completely forget everything about them until I'm reading them, and then I remember. Curse for True Love, I gave like 4 stars, like 3.5 stars. I really can't decide. I did love it, but it just wasn't all that I wanted it to be. I was sort of left with more questions than answers. It felt a little rushed. She's trying to figure out who to trust, and you already know who she should and shouldn't trust, and so you're just like, girl, why are you doing that? We do get an ending that makes me very happy, but also very confused. We also learn a lot more about Jax in this book, because it's his POV is in this, as well as Apollo's and Evangeline's. So this is multiple POVs. There was one scene at the end that involves Apollo, and it just made me laugh because of the way that it happened. You just gotta read it to understand how much this book was just kind of confusing, but I also kind of loved it. There's, of course, a new villain involved, new curses, new revelations, new people. There was a cute little moment with a letter that Evangeline wrote to herself to like stay away from Jax because he was the villain, and he kept it. Ugh, it was so cute. I highly, highly recommend you read this series. It is so fast paced, and look at how beautiful they are. Like all together, they're so beautiful. So in November, I read Yours Truly, which, oh my god, I love this book. I gave it like 4.5 stars. Let me tell you what, this couple has so many freaking emotions, so many ups and downs. They suck at communication. If they would just talk, they would not have all the problems that they did. It's so real in the fact that it shows how your past really can affect your future relationships or your present relationships, and how much it can cause like trauma that you have to get over. So there are 2 POVs in this book, Brianna and Jacob. So they both work at a hospital. Brianna had a hard relationship. Her ex-husband cheated on her with her best friend. And Jacob had a hard relationship. His ex just kind of stopped caring about the relationship. She never really understood him. And they kind of have like a really bad meeting, and it ends up with Brianna kind of disliking Jacob. To fix the matter, he writes her a letter, and then she writes him a letter back, and then they continue to write letters, and then they start hanging out, and then they realize, oh, I kind of may like this person. And then also Brianna's brother needs a new kidney, and so Jacob decides that he's going to test if he's a kidney match, and he is, and so he's going to donate his kidney to her brother. She was just like, oh my gosh, I love this man. This is the best man. Fake dating is a big trope in this book, as well as forced proximity, sort of enemies to lovers. So they seem to develop real feelings for each other, and you just kind of figure out what happens to them. They do make you believe in love and the fact that they are just real. It talks about like actual people and what real people go through. With that being said, those are all of the books I read in October and November. I would recommend every single one of these. I'm excited for Vlogmas. I hope you are too. Yeah, go read a book. Bye!